has been a top Dallas suburb for decades. But in 2025, with all of the new construction opportunities in suburbs like Frisco, Prosper, Celina, and McKinney, is living in Plano still worth it? Today, we're talking about whether Plano still has an edge over other newly developing suburbs, and which area offers better value, lifestyle, and long-term upside. I made the move myself to Dallas over a decade ago. I had to figure out pretty quickly which areas made sense for my lifestyle. Later in the video, I'll share a little bit more about my experience, because where you're moving from totally shapes how you experience places like Plano. Let's get started. I'm Emily Horrenda, Dallas area realtor, and my husband, Tim, and I have been helping people just like you buy and sell homes here in the Dallas area since 2015. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and if you'd like us to help you find a home here in Dallas, give us a call, text, or email. Let's start with why Plano remains a top choice for many buyers in 2025. First off, Plano is established. You get mature neighborhoods with big trees, wide sidewalks, and that quiet, settled feel people often don't realize that they're craving. You won't have little twigs for trees lining the streets. You get those full-blown oak trees providing a lot of shade. This isn't your cookie-cutter, still under construction suburb. It feels lived in. Now, this isn't necessarily a knock against some of the new Dallas suburbs, but in Plano, you're just gonna have a lot more options for retail, grocery stores, restaurants, all within a mile or two of your home. Even Frisco, for all of its new development, has pockets where it feels like you're gonna need to drive several miles to get what you need. And Plano, particularly when you're west of 75, you're not gonna find any empty zones. You're not waiting for new stores to come in and fill the landscape. It's all very well built out. And since it's been booming for a while, you have these nice established shopping centers like Will Bend, the shops at Legacy and Legacy West with amazing dining options. If you work in tech, healthcare, or finance, Plano puts you closer to job hubs. Toyota headquarters, Capital One, JP Morgan, Liberty Mutual, all are within minutes away. If your office is in Dallas, you have a huge edge in commuting, with the DNT and 75 giving you very manageable commute times, even to downtown. Plano delivers on convenience, school quality, and neighborhood character, and it's had a leg up on other suburbs for a long time. But as other nearby suburbs develop, is that advantage slipping away? And what about home values? Is Plano still a good investment here in 2025? Or will your home appreciate better in another suburb? Let's check it out. So let's talk about appreciation, because whether you're buying your forever home or planning to sell within 5 years, that long-term value matters. Plano had its big run years ago, but more recently, over the past 5 years, Plano's population has only grown by around 4%. Compare that to Celina, which has doubled in population over the same time frame. That explosive growth tells us something. Buyers are betting on the future of these new suburbs, and developers, they are too. New communities, new schools, new commercial space, it's all going up at once. And when you look at median home price growth, Plano is still solid, but areas like Celina and Prosper have seen bigger percentage jumps in value in the past 5 years. Now, that doesn't mean that Plano isn't a smart investment. You're buying into a stable, established area where values tend to hold steady, even in down markets. But if you are hoping to ride the next big appreciation wave, you may need to look further north. So how does that translate into what you actually get for your money? Next, we're gonna break down what kind of home you can buy in Plano today versus what you would get in a newer community, so you can see the real world trade-offs side by side. Let's start with the price point of $500,000. In Plano, that usually gets you a home built in the late 80s or early 90s. You're probably looking at around 2,200 square feet with 3 to 4 bedrooms and 2 to 3 bathrooms. Expect it to need some updates. Now, you might find a flipped home at that price, but be careful. A lot of these were bought in the 300,000s, and not all of them are going to be renovated properly. You don't want to end up with a lipstick on a pig situation, where the cosmetics are new, but the systems underneath weren't touched. Now, if you bump your budget to the 700,000s, you'll likely get something closer to 3,000 square feet. Could be more, could be less, especially if it's been really well updated. These homes are often built in the 90s or sometimes a well-maintained 1980s property with good curb appeal. Step up to the 900,000s and you're typically looking at around 4,000 square feet, probably fully updated and on a great lot. From there, Plano has a strong offering of $1 and $2 million neighborhoods, and many of them are in established high-end communities. That's the beauty of luxury real estate in Plano. You get that mature, fully built-out neighborhood feel. It just feels more established, more grounded. And if that's not your thing, there are newer homes in Plano too. Some are built in the 2000s, and you'll find a few pocket neighborhoods that are just a little bit more modern. But by and large, when people shop in Plano, they're drawn to that classic, established neighborhood vibe. So how does this stack up to newer, fast-growing suburbs? Let's take Frisco. At the same price points, your home might be about the same size, but it's going to be about 20 years newer, and that holds fairly steady across all price ranges. But if you shift over to Celina, that's where you'll start to see a big difference in what your money can buy. Same goes for Aubrey, McKinney, and Melissa. From a bird's eye view, your dollar stretches farther. You're getting newer homes, often with more square footage, and in many cases, in master plan communities that are packed with amenities. But that brings us to the next point. There's a trade-off for these newer communities. It's going to feel like more of a drive to get to your retail, groceries, restaurants, etc. These areas just aren't built out yet. Let me add a quick personal note here, especially if you're relocating from out of state. When I moved to Dallas about 12 years ago, I was coming from more rural areas. I was used to driving 20 to 30 minutes to get to the grocery store. So when we settled in the Dallas area, and when everything was suddenly 5 to 10 minutes away, it felt like a luxury. At first, I couldn't understand why anyone would complain about having to drive 15 minutes to get to anything. But the longer I've lived here, the more I've gotten used to having everything right at my fingertips. All that to say, your frame of reference matters. If you're coming from a big metro like LA or New York, Plano's convenience might feel amazing to you. But if you are used to rural living, even the outer suburbs will feel like a big upgrade in terms of convenience. Now, let's get into the details that you don't always see up front. Schools, property taxes, and HOA fees. Plano ISD is still a strong district with a long-standing reputation for academic excellence, but many of its campuses are older and, in some areas, class sizes have crept up. That said, it still ranks high across metrics and has a wide variety of advanced programs. Now, if you head north to areas like Prosper ISD, Celina ISD, or Melissa ISD, you're seeing brand new campuses, smaller class sizes, and huge investments in facilities. These districts are on the rise. Plano's property tax lands typically in the 2.1 to 2.2 range. In the newer suburbs, the base tax rate might look similar or even slightly lower. But many of those homes are in mud or pit districts, which can push your effective tax rate to 2.5% or even 2.9%. While the majority of your homes in Plano are not going to have any of these extra fees, that is a major difference in your monthly payment and long-term cost. In Plano, older neighborhoods have low HOA dues and some are even voluntary. But newer master plan communities up north typically come with higher HOA fees. But they usually include things like pools, gyms, community events, trails, etc. So when you're comparing Plano to the newer suburbs, don't just look at the list price. Run the numbers on monthly costs, school qualities, and what you're actually getting for the HOA dues. So is Plano still worth it in 2025? Now, speaking for myself personally, I like living in areas where it feels like the community has been there for a little while. Yes, it's exciting to get in on the ground floor somewhere, but there's something about living in an established area where you're getting grafted into an already blossoming community, where there's already some history, culture, and traditions that I think is really nice. So if that sounds like something that would make sense for you, then yes, I think that Plano absolutely still delivers here in 2025. If you want a mature, established neighborhood close to shopping, dining, top employers, and you value shorter commutes, in a city with strong infrastructure, Plano checks all those boxes. Especially if you're not chasing the latest trends or looking for the newest floor plans, Plano offers convenience and long-term stability. But if your priority is more space, a brand new home, and you're looking to bet on future growth and appreciation, the newer suburbs, Celina, Aubrey, Melissa, even parts of McKinney, might be a better fit. Just be prepared for a little more driving and the reality that some parts of the community may still be developing around you. If you're not sure where your priorities fall or you're weighing multiple areas, let's talk. I help people make this decision all the time, and I'd be happy to walk you through the trade-offs based on your budget and goals. Well, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. And if you'd like us to help you find a home here in the Dallas area, give us a call, text, or email. We'll see you next time.